A question paper discussion from reproduction in organism and sexual reproduction in flowering plants. This question paper contains 90 questions. First question. In all the methods of asexual reproduction, offspring produced are genetically identical to the parents, offspring produced are genetically different from the parents, offsprings produced may or may not be identical to the parents, none of the above. You see, in all the method of asexual reproduction, the offsprings which they produced are clones. They are genetically and morphologically identical to the parents. So here the correct option is 1. Next question. Asexual reproduction take place in fungi, lower animals, plants, all of this. We can see the asexual reproduction in fungi by the spore formation, asexual spore formation as zoospores, aplanospores, conidia, etc. And we can see the vegetative reproduction, that is by fragmentation. And in lower animals we can see, in the case of sponges and all, the internal bud formation, and in cnidarians or hydra we can see the bud formation and regeneration. And plants, it show vegetative propagation, that is also a type of asexual reproduction. So here the asexual reproduction take place in all of these group of organisms. Next question. As a result of binary fission, number of individuals produced by one fission is. Binary fission itself, it is dividing the cell into two. So here the 2 cells will be formed, 3 cells will be formed, 4 cells will be formed, and 5 cells. Here the correct option is 2. And binary fission, it occurs in bacteria, that is in Monera, and we can see this is seen in Protista, a single cellular eukaryotic organism. And the binary fission is nothing but amitotic division. Amitotic division is the division which occurs without the spindle formation. Next question. Fertilization is internal in toads, frogs, dogfish, catfish. So here toads, frogs, these two are amphibians. They will undergo external fertilization. And catfish is also a fish that also will undergo external fertilization. Dogfish is nothing but the shark. Shark, it undergo internal fertilization. Shark, it undergo internal fertilization. So here the correct option is dogfish. Next question. Which type of reproduction? Okay, in this I just wanted to add some more points. The silverfish is nothing but the insects group, okay, arthropoda. And the this one jellyfish, that is coming under cnidarians. Okay, that fish apart we have said catfish, dogfish, that is the reason I just explained this also. Next question. Which type of reproduction is found in hydra? Hydra, polyembryony, sexual and asexual, parthenogenesis, encystment. We have studied hydra, it shows sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction also. Sexual reproduction, it is occurring from one group of hydra, that is medusa, it produces polyp sexually, like that we have studied. Asexual reproduction, that is by fragmentation or regeneration and budding. Next question. Gemule formation in sponges is helpful in. Gemule formation, gemmules are internal buds, that is for the asexual reproduction. So here we will see parthenogenesis, it's not correct. Sexual reproduction, no. Only dissemination, no. Asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is nothing but budding. So that is the correct option. Next question. What is the mode of reproduction in amoeba? Binary fission only, binary fission and multiple fission, binary fission and conjugation, multiple fission only. We have studied in the case of amoeba, amoeba undergo binary fission during favorable condition, and during unfavorable condition it will undergo multiple fission. So here binary fission and multiple fission will be shown by amoeba as a part of their reproduction. Next question. Which of the following are exclusively viviparous? Means in one group of organism, all organisms in that particular category, they are viviparous. Which is that? They are asking. Bony fishes, cartilaginous fishes, shark, whale. See here, bony fishes, they undergo external fertilization and they are oviparous organism. Cartilaginous fishes, they undergo, some of them undergo internal fertilization, and some of them are viviparous, some they lay egg. And shark also, some group of shark, it will undergo external fertilization and external development. So oviparous organisms are there. But whales are mammals. They will deliver the baby and they will nourish the baby with mammary glands. So here the correct option, it is whale. Whale category, that is that mammal category, no one is there the viviparous. We can see mammals, they are oviparous, that is echidna and platypus, that is egg laying mammals we will say. Whale we are not seeing in any type of whale, it is showing the oviparous condition. Okay, next question, development of an egg without fertilization. Without fertilization, an egg, if it is developing as a complete organism, that is called as parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis can be seen in some birds, it is seen in some lizards, it is seen in honeybee. Okay, so here the correct option, it is not development of egg without fertilization is called as gametogenesis, that is wrong. Metagenesis, that is wrong. Oogenesis, that is wrong. Parthenogenesis is the correct option. Next question, 10th question. The function of egg cell is or are. It supply a haploid set of chromosome to the future embryo. Correct. It is a half of the portion, half of the chromosome, it is coming from egg. It provide most of the cytoplasm to the embryo. Yes. So the egg containing, the egg cytoplasm will be having all the cell organelles. Sperm will not be having any cell organelle except nucleus. It supply food reserved to the embryo. Yes. In the beginning, the egg which contained the food that can be used by for the development of embryo, and we can see not in the beginning. Okay, in the case of oviparous organisms and all, for the development of the zygote, that yolk which is present, that is present inside the egg only, right? So these all are correct for the egg cell function. So the correct option is 4. Next question, in angiospermic life cycle, sporophyte is dependent on gametophyte. Gametophyte is dependent on sporophyte. Both sporophyte and gametophyte are independent. Both sporophyte and gametophyte are of equal status. See here, in angiospermic life cycle, we can see the major plant body is diploid and they are sporophytic, and this sporophyte, it produces the gametophyte as pollen grain and embryo sac. They are depending on the sporophytic plant body. There is no free existence for this gametophyte. After dispersal of even pollen grain, it has some lifespan. After that, they will not be able to survive. So here the correct option is gametophyte is dependent on sporophyte. This character is seen in not only in angiosperm, it is seen in gymnosperms also. And sporophyte is dependent on gametophyte. Sporophyte is dependent on gametophyte, that is in the case of bryophyte. Both sporophyte and gametophyte are independent. Both sporophyte and gametophyte are independent, that is in the case of pteridophyte. Okay, so here the correct option is 2. Next question, in a normal embryo sac, the ploidy level of egg cell, it will be haploid. Polar nuclei, polar nuclei. You see, polar nuclei means haploid to nucleus, it is called as polar nuclei. So that is also haploid. Synergids, synergid is haploid. Secondary nucleus, just before the triple fusion, polar nuclei, when it is fused together and form the diploid nucleus, that is called as the secondary nucleus we have studied. So that will be diploid in nature. So here the correct option is N, N, N and 2N respectively. Okay, next question, which one of the following is not vegetative propagule? Rhizome and sucker, these both are vegetative propagule. Rhizome, it is present in ginger. Sucker, it is present in pineapple. And the tuber and offset, tuber it is present in potato, offset it is present in water hyacinth. They both are the vegetative propagule. Bulbil in agave, leaf buds that is in bryophyllum, bulb in onion. These are the vegetative propagule. Antherozoid, antherozoid, it is not a vegetative propagule, it is the male gamete which is released from the bryophytes like lower plants. Okay, so here the correct option is 4. Next question, which one of the following option is true regarding given statement? The plant was introduced in India because of its beautiful flowers and shape of leaves. We have studied the plants which was introduced in India because of its beautiful flowers and shape of leaves, that is water hyacinth. Now it is a threat to other aquatic organism and it is known as the terror of Bengal, like that we have read, right? So here we can see it, this is the character of water hyacinth. It can propagate vegetatively at a phenomenal rate and spread all over water body in a short period. That is because of the offset vegetative propagule. Their internodal length, it is very small. Each node from where the new bud can be produced. So vegetative propagation will be it will be in high rate or phenomenal rate, and it can spread very easily. So this is also correct for water hyacinth. It is very difficult to get rid of these plants. That is correct. So here these all three statements, they are talking about water hyacinth. So here the correct option is 2. Next question, which of the following is cultivated through vegetative propagation? Potato and sugar cane, yes, that can be cultivated by vegetative propagation. Potato, that is underground stem. Sugar cane, that is the aerial stem. Banana and ginger, this is both are cultivated by underground stem. Dahlia and rose, both are cultivated by the dahlia, it is cultivated by the root, and rose, it is cultivated by the aerial stem. So here all are cultivated by vegetative propagation. All of the above is the correct option. Next question, the site of origin of new plantlets in potato. Site of origin of new plantlets in potato, that is the nodal region, and that is the axillary bud which is produced from it. Ginger and banana. Ginger, the site of origin of new plantlets, that is the nodal region, and banana, that is also from the nodal region. So here we can see floral bud present on stem, internode of modified stem, nodes of modified stem, adventitious bud present on root. Nodes of modified stem from where these all plants will produces its buds. Next question, which of the following plants do not show clear-cut vegetative, reproductive and senescent phase? This sentence itself, it has given in our textbook. It is difficult for us to understand whether the perennial plant is in its vegetative, reproductive phase or not. So here perennial plants, they have given. Annual plants and all, we can easily understand whether it is in vegetative stage or reproductive stage or going to die. Biennial plant also we can understand easily. So here the correct option is perennial plants 1. Next question, which of the following plants exhibit unusual flowering phenomenon? So here what the options, it is given: mango and lychee, mango and maize, lychee and pea, bamboo species and strobilanthes species. So here bamboo species and strobilantha species, they both are perennial plants, but they produce only once the flowers and fruits. So that only is exhibiting unusual flowering phenomenon. Normally the perennial plants, they will produce many times the flowers. You see this mango and lychee, they both are perennial, they are producing the flowers seasonally. Mango and maize, mango is perennial, maize is annual. Maize, it will produce once in their life cycle because they are annual plant. Lychee and pea, lychee, that is perennial, pea, that is annual plant. So lychee will produce the flowers seasonally, and pea, it will produce annually once, means they are annual plants. Exception is that perennial plant which is producing only once the flowers throughout their life. So 4 is the correct option. Next question, which one of the following statements is false? See, bamboo species flower only once in their lifetime, generally after 50 to 100 years, produce large number of fruits and die. That is correct. In animals, the juvenile phase is followed by morphological and physiological changes prior to active reproductive behavior. That is also correct. And we can see the reproductive phase is of same duration in all organisms. No, reproductive phase, that will be varying from one organism to other organisms. That is depending on their lifespan and depending on their physiological activities. So 3 is the wrong statement here. Next one, juvenile phase is the period of growth between the birth of an individual till it reaches the reproductive maturity. That is also correct. So here the correct option is 3. Next question, which is not a fruit? Bulb of onion. Bulb of onion is nothing but the stem modification, and we can see the bulb of onion in which the fleshy edible leaves are arranged. Tomato, that is a fruit which is developed from the flower. Pumpkin, that is a fruit which is developed from the flower. Cucumber, that is a fruit which is developed from the flower. So here the correct option is 1. Next question, anemophilous flower how? Anemophilous flowers means wind pollinating flowers. We have studied wind pollinating flowers where the pollen grain are light and non-sticky, and the stigma and style, they will be feathery. So here we will see the correct option, small smooth stigma. That is wrong. Large smooth stigma, that is wrong. Large feathery stigma, yes. Stigma, it is large and feathery. That can be seen in the case of maize, that is called as the tassels. Okay, so here the correct option is 3. Colored beautiful flowers, wind pollinating flowers and all, there is no need of that much beauty and all because it is not attracting any insects. The wind is bringing the pollen grain through the air current, and we can see there the flowers, it will be seen in inflorescence mostly, and this wind pollination, it is present in the grass group, and we can see there each ovary will be consist of one ovule, that is a character of wind pollinating flower. Next question, the process of double fertilization was discovered by the scientist Navashkin. Okay, double fertilization is discovered by Navashkin. Next question, the transformation from a single cell into an adult individual with many different kinds of cells is called as, see, a single cell zygote into adult individual. When it is becoming, we can see the cell division will be occurred, cell growth will be occurred. In the case of plants and all, we can clearly say cell division, cell elongation, maturation, differentiation. These all process together we can call as developmental process. So here the correct option is development. Okay, so the transformation from a single cell into an adult individual with many different kinds of cells is called as the development. Next question, reproduction in cycas takes place by. Reproduction in cycas, it can occur in two different ways, that is asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Cycas, that is a dioecious plant that will produce either male cone or female cone. So it undergo asexual reproduction by the formation of bulbil. Okay, the vegetative propagule present in the cycas, that is bulbil, and this bulbil, it is covered by the scale leaves. Okay, and we can see the sexual method of reproduction where we can see the male cone, it will produce the pollen grain. That pollen grain, they are flagellated pollen grain that show the ancient characteristic features of the plant. See, pteridophyte, pteridophyte, bryophyte and all having flagellated pollen grain, no? The same character, it can be seen in cycas, ginkgo, that kind of plants and all. Okay, so here we can see cycas, it produces the pollen grain that is flagellated. Because of that, we can say gymnosperm generally, even though it is undergoing siphonogamy, cycas, ginkgo and all, it will undergo zooidogamy. What is zooidogamy? The pollen grain will be able to, the pollen grain contain generative cell will be able to swim with the help of locomotory organ as flagella towards the archegonial structure or towards the egg. Okay, so here we can say this cycas, it undergo both vegetative and sexual method of reproduction. Next question, cycas. Cycas is monoecious and seed bearing. Cycas is dioecious and seed bearing. It is dioecious and seed bearing. So that is correct. We have told in this question itself they are dioecious plants, unisexual plants, right? And seedless monoecious. No, they produces the seeds. They are dioecious. Seedless dioecious. Now you see here the cycas and all, they comes under gymnosperm. They produce as the naked seed. Okay, they have seed but they do not have the fruit. Okay, next question, heterospory is the production of. Heterospory means two different types of spores will be produced. We will not be able to understand the spore with its size, with its nature. Okay, so heterospory, it started from the pteridophyte, some group of pteridophyte like Selaginella, Salvinia, those kind of Azolla, those kind of pteridophytes, they are producing heterospores. That heterospores, that is the precursor of seed habit, like that it is considered, right? So here we will see heterospory is the production of sexual and asexual spores. That is wrong. Haploid and diploid spores, that is wrong. Small and large spores, this is correct. Okay, the one will be big and one will be small. Diploid and tetraploid spores, that will be having the chromosome number in equal way only. So here 3 is the correct option. Next question, when stamens are adnate to tepal is known as. If the stamen is attached to tepal, that is called as epiphyllous condition. If the stamen is attached to the petal, that is called as epipetalous condition. Okay, so here the correct option is epiphyllous condition. Now, next question, when accessory whorls like calyx and corolla are absent in a flower, it is called as. If the calyx and corolla both are absent, that is called as chlamydous. There is no sepals and petals. Monoclamydous means either the calyx or corolla will be present. That is monoclamydous flowers. Okay, so here the correct option, it is 3. A false fruit developed from. Next question. A false fruit which is developed from. A false fruit is developed from any floral part other than the ovary, like thalamus maybe, or it may be pedicel, or any part of the flower other than the ovary, from where the false fruit will be developed. Example for false fruit is apple, and we can see strawberry is a false fruit. So here the complete flower from where? No, that is not correct. Ovary, no. Any floral part other than ovary, that is the correct option. Next question. During the process of fertilization, it is usually found that of the two male gametes, one fuses with the egg and the second with the secondary nucleus. This is a characteristic feature of angiosperm, and that is known as double fertilization. The fusion of male gamete with egg is called as syngamy, and the fusion of male gamete and polar nuclei, that is called as the triple fusion. So here the correct option is 2. Next question. The normal type of embryo sac is, we know the embryo sac is polygonum type, and it consists of 7-celled 8 nucleate condition. 7-celled 8 nucleate condition. So 8 nucleate and 7-celled. This is the condition of the normal embryo sac. The embryo sac, it is 7-celled 8 nucleate. It was found out by the scientist. Polygonum type of embryo sac was first described by the scientist Strasburger. Next question. The tapetum. Tapetum is a nutritive layer which generally degenerate at maturity. It help in dispersal of pollen grain, help in dehiscence of anther, none of the above. So here the correct option is, it is a nutritive layer which generally degenerate at maturity. Tapetum and all, it will be degenerated at maturity. Dispersal of pollen grain, that is due to dehiscence of anther. Dehiscence of anther, it occurs through the stomium or line of dehiscence. Line of dehiscence, where dehiscence it occurs with the help of endothecium cell. Endothecium cells, that is called as fibrous cells because it has fiber thickening in their wall, and it is hygroscopic cell. The pollen grain dispersal, it occurs from the anther by the degeneration of endothelial cells. Okay, so here the correct option is 1. Next question. When the anther mature before the stigma, it is known as, see, the anther mature before the stigma, that is called as protandry condition. Protandry. Andrecium will be matured first. That is protandry condition. Okay, next, and that is the character of dichogamy. Okay, that is called as the dichogamy. Dichogamy, actually two different types are there. Either the andrecium will be mature first, that is protandry, or the gynoecium will be matured first, that is protogyny. Next question. Anther is typically tetrasporangiate, bisporangiate, trisporangiate, monosporangiate. We know inside the anther there are 2 lobes, and each lobe is having two corners or two thecas. So each theca we will represent as microsporangia. So anther is typically tetrasporangiate, and there are some disporangiate or monothecous anther. Monothecous anther, it can be seen in the young anther of, in the anther of the Malvaceae. Okay, Malvaceae family, there we can see the monothecous anther or disporangiate structure. Next question. Microsporangial initial of an anther is called as, microsporangial initial of an anther, that is called as archisporium. Archisporial cells only will initiate as the microsporangia structure. Archisporial cells, when it is undergo periclinal division, it will produce a number of layers towards the periphery and a cluster of cells towards the center region, and the number of layers which is produced towards the periphery, that will be differentiated as endothecium, middle layer, and tapetum. The center cells which is differentiating from the archisporial cells, that is called as sporogenous cells. That sporogenous cells only it will be developed as the sporogenous tissue. So here the correct option is archisporium, and archisporium is a group of cells, from where the microsporangia is initiated. Because of that we can call it as eusporangiate origin. If the microsporangia is originated from a single cell, then we will call it as leptosporangiate. This is not leptosporangiate, this is eusporangiate because it is produced from a cluster of cells. Next question. Tapetum present in the microsporangial wall occurs between. Tapetum actually it occurs in between the middle layer and the sporogenous tissue, right? Middle layer and sporogenous tissue, because epidermis, endothelium, middle layer, tapetum, sporogenous tissue, in that order it is. So middle layer and sporogenous tissue, that is the correct option. Tapetal cells show meiosis, mitosis, endomitosis, and endopolyploidy. It will undergo endomitosis. Endomitosis is nothing but the free nuclear division. Due to free nuclear division, endopolyploidy can be seen inside the cell. The polyploidy will be there. A large number of nucleus will be there. A large number of chromosomes will be there. So here the correct option is 4. Next question. Tapetal cells are. So here you may get doubt. Endomitosis is also correct. No. As a result of endomitosis, what it is produced, it has given here, right? So we have to give the exact answer, that is endomitosis and endopolyploidy. Next question. Tapetal cells are haploid, polyploid, diploid, triploid. We said it is polyploid, right? So 2 is the correct option. Next question. Eubish bodies take part in the development of. Eubish granules are lipid rich granules which is produced from the tapetum layer, and it is used for synthesizing the exine wall of pollen grain. So here exine wall of pollen grain will be formed during the development of pollen grain, right? So here the correct option is pollen grain. Pollen grain formation, for that Eubish bodies are taking part. Syncytium. Syncytium is nothing but multinucleate condition. It is microgametophyte. Microgametophyte is nothing but the pollen grain. Sorry, microgametophyte, it is microgametophyte is nothing but, see, before the formation of this exine and intine wall, no, the microspore slowly, when it is undergoing division, that stage only microgametophyte is representing. Okay, microsporangium, for that Eubish granules are not needed. Next question. Wall of the mature pollen grain consists of. The wall, it consists of exine and intine. Exine, it is made with the sporopollenin, that is derived from the Eubish granules, and intine, it is made with the cellulose and pectose. So here the correct option exine and intine. 3 is the correct option. Okay. Next question. Germ pore or germinal furrow present on the surface of pollen grain represent. Germ pore is, or the germinal furrow, that represent that region. The sporopollenin will be absent or it will be very thin. Actually this germ pore, it is in the case of monocotyledonous pollen grain, it will be having a single germ pore. But in the case of dicotyledonous pollen grain, we can see 3 germ pores. So that is represented as monocolpate in the case of monocot and tricolpate in the case of dicot. So monocolpate is a characteristic feature of monocotyledonous pollen grain, and tricolpate is the characteristic feature of dicotyledonous pollen grain. Okay, so the germ pore or germinal furrow that is present on the surface of pollen grain represent there is no, that region there is no exine wall. So we will see area where exine is thin or absent. This is the correct option. Okay. Specialized thickening of exine. No, thickening of exine where we can see a thick exine wall. There is no pores in that region. Okay. Other options, it is given specialized thickening of intine. No. Area where tapetum is absent. Tapetum, otherwise also it will be absent. Okay, it will be completely absent. Next question. At the time of antherdescence, during that time, the endothelium cells will lose its water and it will undergo slowly degeneration. Endothelium cells, which is endothelial cells which is present in the stomium region or the line of dehiscence, there this special property will occur, and through that region the dehiscence of anther it will occur. We will see the options. Middle layer develop fibrous thickening. No, fibrous thickening it is developed in the endothelium, and fibrous thickening, because of that we will say that is fibrous cells. Epidermal cells degenerate. No, endothelium develop fibrous thickening. Endothelium develop fibrous thickening, that is there, but it is not for the dehiscence of anther. Endothelium degenerate, that will help in dehiscence of anther. Next question, chalaza is the region from where the integuments are originated. We have studied, right? The integuments are originated from the chalaza region. Chalaza is present just opposite to micropylar region. So here we will see ridge formed by fusion of funicle with the body of ovule. Ridge formed by fusion of funicle with the body of ovule is called as raphe. Okay, ridge formed by the fusion of funicle with the body of ovule is called as raphe. Space between integument and nucellus. Space between integument and nucellus is not called as chalaza. Place of origin of integument. This is correct. Place where nucellus communicate with the cavity of ovary. That is also wrong. So here next question. Raphe is, I just said, ridge formed by union of funicle with the body of ovule. That is called as the raphe. Okay, so here the correct option is 1. If when you read this question, no, this answer, that ridge formed by the fusion of funicle with the body of ovule, that is called as raphe. This answer, it should come in your mind that moment itself. So this question, there is no need of reading the other options. Before that itself we will come to know raphe is the correct answer. Distance between chalaza and micropyle. No. Distance between hilum and micropyle. No. Area between hilum and chalaza. No. So here first option is correct. Next question, the function of synergid is to this pollen tube, it will be attracted and it will direct that male gamete towards egg and one towards the polar nuclei. That is done by synergid. So here the option is, the options it has given, attract pollen tube and direct the male generative cells towards egg and polar nuclei. This is correct. Fuse with extra male gamete and form endosperm. No, endosperm formation it occurs by the fusion of male gamete and polar nuclei. Produce additional embryo. Additional embryo it can be produced, but in some special cases like polyembryony. That is also not correct. Protect egg from pathogens. No, that is also wrong. Next question, the central cell of embryo sac contains. Central cell of embryo sac is the biggest cell, and there we can see the either the polar nuclei or the secondary nucleus. Okay, so here we can see a single haploid nucleus. No, central cell it has 2 haploid nucleus, that is during the formation. Just before fertilization we can see that haploid nucleus in the fused form a secondary nucleus also. So here we can see 2 haploid polar nuclei can be there in the central cell, as well as 1 diploid fusion or secondary nucleus also can be present. So either 2 or 3 can be seen in the central cell. So 4 is the correct option. Next question, which one commonly develop haustoria in embryo sac? Haustoria is nothing but the embryo sac get nourishment that is by antipodal cells. Okay, so here the haustoria, the which cells it give the nourishment to the embryo sac in the beginning before the fertilization and all, that will be antipodal cells. So 2 is the correct option. Next question, the phenomenon of floral parts acting as a barrier to self-pollination is, see, self-pollination where the floral part acting as a barrier. Floral part it will not allow the entry of pollen, its own pollen grain to the stigma. That can be seen in the case of hercogamy. What is this hercogamy? Releasing pollen grain outside the flower, that is called as hercogamy, right? So here the floral parts itself, because of that stamen and because of that petal and sepal only, it is not able to undergo pollination, because it will be delivered out from the flower, it will be delivered out from the petal region. Because of that it will not be able to come in contact with the stigma of the same flower. Next question, the phenomenon of 2 flowers, one having long stamen and short style, other having short stamen and long style. That means both the androecium and gynoecium in different length. That is called as heterostyle. This heterostyle actually seen in the case of jasmine and all. Okay, so here allogamy, heterostyle, declining, hercogamy. So here the correct option is heterostyle. So here declining is nothing but they produces either male flower or female flower. Hercogamy we said already. Allogamy is nothing but cross pollination. Okay, so next question, on culturing the young anther of a plant, a botanist got a few diploid plants along with the haploid plants. Which of the following might have give rise to the diploid plant? We will see the options which is given. Exine of pollen grain. Exine of pollen grain, it is Ubish granule deposit. It is not cellular layer. Vegetative cell of pollen grain. Vegetative cell of pollen grain is haploid. If the development of plant it occurs from the vegetative cell of pollen grain, it will be haploid only. Cells of anther wall. Yes, anther wall, it will be having diploid cells. Anther is diploid structure only. Inside the anther, the microspore and the pollen grains only the haploid structure, right? So anther wall, if it is anther wall cells, if it is undergoing development, it will develop as a diploid plant. Next, generative cell of the pollen. Generative cell of the pollen, it will develop as haploid embryo only. Okay, so here the correct option is 3, cells of anther wall. Next question, in tobacco callus, which one shall induce shoot differentiation in combination of auxin and cytokinin? You see, the shoot differentiation occurs when cytokinin is more as compared to auxin. Root differentiation it occur, that is when auxin is more as compared to cytokinin. So here we will see higher concentration of cytokinin and lower concentration of auxin. This is correct. So higher concentration of cytokinin and lower concentration of auxin, or cytokinin auxin ratio, if it is more, the shoot will be induced. Cytokinin auxin ratio, if it is less, or auxin cytokinin ratio, if it is more, it will induce the root. Next question, tissue culture technique can produce indefinite number of new plants from a small parental tissue. The economic importance of this technique is in raising. See, as a result of this tissue culture, the new plants which is formed that obey the totipotency, it is producing, each vegetative cell is capable of producing as a complete plant. So here the explant what we are using for culturing, that will be developing as a cluster of cells that can easily differentiate as a complete plant. Each cell can develop as a complete plant. So each cell which is produced from the vegetative part of the plant or by mitotic division, they all will be clones, right? So we will get genetically identical members from that particular culturing method. So wherever we need genetically identical individual, means exactly similar to parental organism, if we want the progeny, that will be done with the help of tissue culture. Now we will see the options. Variance through picking up somaclonal variations. No, variance will not be there in tissue culture. Genetically uniform population of an elite species. Yes, very good species. That species we can make genetically identical individual. That is correct. Homozygous diploid plants. No, homozygous diploid plants and all we are not expecting in the case of this one, tissue culture. Development of new species. New species cannot be developed from the new species will not be developed in the asexual reproduction or from the clone. Okay, next question. Dichogamy is, we said already, dichogamy is nothing but the androecium and gynoecium. It will not be matured at a time. Either androecium will be mature or gynoecium will be mature first. That is protantry protogyny condition, right? So here the correct option is maturation of anther and stigma at different times. That is called as dichogamy. Next question. Generative cell was destroyed by laser, but a normal pollen tube was still formed because pollen tube is elongating from the intine region. Intine region elongation for that intine elongate as a pollen tube, vegetative cell can give the nourishment. So here the correct option will be vegetative cell and intine is not damaged. Because of that, the pollen tube it can be generated even if the generative cells are destroyed by the laser. Okay, contents of kill degenerative cells stimulate pollen growth. That is wrong. Laser beam stimulate growth of pollen tube. Wrong. The region of emergence of pollen tube. No. So here vegetative cell and intine is not damaged, so it can elongate the pollen tube. Next question. The spongy outgrowth of the integument near micropyle in castor is, that is caruncle. Caruncle, that is the spongy outgrowth of the integument near micropyle in castor. Okay, castor is a dicotyledonous seed which has both endosperm and perisperm, and it has a special structure called as caruncle. Caruncle, it will help in intake of water as well as oxygen during the seed germination. Next question. Meiosis is best observed in dividing. Meiosis can be seen in the case of the cells which is present inside the reproductive structure. We will see cells of apical meristem. Cells of apical meristem, that is for the growth, so that will undergo mitosis. Cells of lateral meristem, that also undergo mitosis. Microspores and anther wall. Microspore, it will undergo mitotic division for the development of the pollen grain. Anther wall, it is not undergoing meiosis. Anther wall, it is not undergoing meiosis. Inside the anther center region, microspore mother cell only will be undergoing meiosis. So to study meiosis, we can take pollen mother cell. Pollen mother cell, PMC, is nothing but pollen mother cell. This pollen mother cell, it will undergo meiotic division inside the microsporangia. Next question. Choose the odd one. Archegonium, oogonium, ovule, antheridium. You see, archegonium, that is a female reproductive structure. Oogonium, that is also a female reproductive structure. Ovule is also part of female reproductive structure. Antheridium, that is the male reproductive structure. So here the odd one, it is antheridium 4. Next question. Polygonum type of embryo sac or typical female gametophyte of angiosperm is. We already said this question. It is repeated. I'm sorry. I didn't notice this question is repeatedly coming. 7 celled and 8 nucleate. We already said this one now, and this was first described by the scientist Strasburger. Next one. Embryo sac is monosporic when it is developed from. Embryo sac, it is developed from a single megaspore which is formed as a result of meiotic division of megaspore mother cell, and remaining 3 megaspore from the micropylar region will be disappeared or degenerated. Only 1 megaspore when it is developing as embryo sac, that is called as monosporic development. So here we can see one of the 4 megaspore arise from a megaspore mother cell, that is nothing but monosporic development. So this is the correct answer. Okay, next question. Ovule is curved and the embryo sac is horseshoe shaped, and micropyle, chalaza and funicle occur near one another. The ovule is Amphitropous type of ovule. We say the chalazal region, funicle, these all it will come together. Micropyle, these all it will come together, and we can see the embryo sac, it will bend like a horseshoe like structure, that is in Amphitropous. Campylotropous, in that we can see just it is in a a micropylar region, it will be just curved downward direction, but there will not be any horseshoe shape for this one, embryo sac. Orthotropous ovule means where we can see the funicle, it is attached just opposite to the micropylar region. Anatropous ovule, the micropylar region, that region where the funicle is attached. Okay, so here the correct option, it is 2. Next question. In our textbook, the ovule which is given, that is anatropous ovule. Okay, anatropous ovule, it is very important. You have to study that, the structure, everything. Next one. Ovule is inverted with the body fused to funicle. Micropyle lying close to the hilum and facing the placenta. It is the anatropous ovule. This type of ovule only it has given in the textbook. See, ovule, when we are seeing that ovule, we can see this hilum, it is funicle, it is coming and attaching to the hilum, where we can see the micropylar region also, right? So the same thing only it has given now. The ovule, it can be inverted. If we write opposite direction, it will be inverted, and body, it is fused with the funicle. Micropyle lying close to the hilum and facing the placenta. that is called as the anatropous ovule. Next question, double fertilization and triple fusion were discovered by. Double fertilization, that is discovered by Navashkin, and triple fusion was discovered by Gugnard. Gugnard is the scientist who discovered this triple fusion. Okay, actually we know double fertilization is discovered by Navashkin. That is the reason I just asked this question to get this answer. Triple fusion is discovered by Gugnard. Okay, next question, in angiosperm, syngamy or fertilization refers to. Syngamy is nothing but the fusion of generative cell with the egg. So here we will see fusion of sperm with a secondary nucleus, that is triple fusion. Fusion of a sperm with oosphere, correct. Here sperm is nothing but the generative cell and oosphere is nothing but the egg of embryo sac. So this is called as the syngamy. Fusion of one sperm with egg and other with a secondary nucleus, that is double fertilization. Fusion of one of the sperm with a synergid, that condition it is seen rarely in some plants, that is due to some genetic abnormality. Next question, milky water of green coconut is, we know that is a liquid endosperm. Liquid endosperm that gives a watery endosperm, that is polyploid free nuclear division. When it is occurring, the liquid endosperm will be formed in the green coconut. So 3 is the correct option. Next question, in a fertilized ovule, N, 2N and 3N condition occurs respectively in. N, that is seen in the egg, synergids, antipodal cell. 2N, it is present in the central cell, and 3N, it is present in the endosperm. We will see the options what it is given. Here the options it is not given as the center cell. Okay, we will see. Antipodals, it is haploid in nature. Egg is haploid, endosperm is triploid. Egg is haploid, nucellus diploid, endosperm is triploid. This only the answer. So here this endosperm it is triploid, nucellus it is diploid, egg is haploid. Antipodals it is haploid, synergids it is haploid, integuments that is diploid. So here the correct option is 2. Next question, bees are important to agriculture as that will help in pollination. Bees, they are a very good pollinators that will help in agriculture. Because of pollination, the fruit set it will be assured. So here produce wax, that will not help in agriculture. Perform pollination. Okay, this is the correct option. Okay, next question, function of suspensor of embryo is, we have studied during the embryo development or zygote development, the embryo it will be pushed towards the endosperm, that is due to the suspensor cells, and suspensor cells also help in attaching this embryo on the micropylar region. So here we will see absorption of nourishment, no. Push the embryo into nutritive endosperm region, that is correct. Formation of secondary embryos, all of the above. See here, secondary embryos and all, secondary embryo formation and all, suspensor is not taking part. Okay, suspensor is a structure that is pushing this embryo towards the endosperm. And another thing is there, suspensor it will never absorb the nutrients. Nutrient absorption it will be taken by the embryos only. Okay, so here the correct option is 2. Next question, pollen grains are non-green due to. Pollen grains are non-green due to there the plastid it will be developed as chromoplast, not chloroplast. If it is developed as chloroplast, then it would have been shown the green color. Now the plastid, when it is undergoing development or differentiation, it will be developed as chromoplast. Okay, so here we will see the options. Absence of plastid, no. Degeneration of plastid, no. Conversion of plastid into chromoplast, that is the correct option. Attraction of vectors, no. Attraction of vectors it is done by the accessory part of the flowers. Okay, so here the correct option is 3. Next question, out of the following, which two methods yield genetically similar plants? We can see stem cutting, they will yield genetically similar plants. Seed production, no. Variation will be shown because meiosis it occurs for the formation of the gamete, and gamete fusion it occurs because of that the offspring it will be showing variation. Mutation always show variation because it causes the changes in their genetic material. Tissue culture is also a type of artificial method of vegetative propagation, or we can say it is a micro propagation. Tissue culture also produce genetically and morphologically identical individual. Okay, so here we can see tissue culture and stem cutting. 1 and 4 is the correct option. Here the correct option is 3. Next question, which one group of plants is propagated through underground route? Underground route through which the propagation of the plants we are studying as asparagus, tapioca, dahlia, sweet potato, these all will undergo propagation by the underground root. Bryophyllum and kalanchoe, that is by the notches of leaf margin where the buds will be produced. Ginger, rhizome, potato, it is that is underground stem, potato underground stem, onion, it is underground stem, zamingand, it is underground stem. Pistia, it is reproduced by offset. Chrysanthemum, it reproduced by sucker. Pineapple also sucker. And we can see sweet potato, asparagus, tapioca and dahlia, these will undergo vegetative propagation by root. Next one, unisexuality of flowers prevent. Unisexuality of the flowers, it prevent the autogamy but not geitonogamy. Unisexuality of flower only we have said. Unisexuality of the plant we have not said. Unisexuality of the flower means in the case of cucurbita, they produces male flower and female flower separately. It doesn't mean the male flowers producing pollen grain, it will not come to the stigma of the same plant's different flower. Okay, so if the pollination is occurring in between the different flowers of the same plant, that is called as geitonogamy. No? So geitonogamy can occur even if the unisexuality of the flowers are there. Only the autogamy can be prevented, means the pollen grain will not fall on the stigma of the same flower. Next question, an advantage of cleistogamy is, we have studied cleistogamy is nothing but the pollination which is occurring inside the cleistogamous flower. Cleistogamous flowers are closed flowers. So here the pollen grain which is released inside the flower, nowhere it will go, it will be present inside the flower itself and it will get enough time to fall on the stigma of its own flower, and the seed set it will be assured. Even though the seed set, even though the inbreeding depression and all, it is common in them, there is no need of worrying about the failure of pollination and all for the production of the fruit. So the seed set it will be assured in that. So here the correct option we will see, it leads to great genetic diversity. No, it will not show genetic diversity because it is undergoing autogamy. Seed dispersal is more efficient and widespread. No, seed dispersal actually it is not wide spread or more efficient because that is closed flower. Next one, each visit of pollinators brings hundreds of pollen grains. No, pollinators are not coming for the pollination. Seed set is not dependent upon the pollinators. This is correct. Seed set it is not dependent on the pollinators. The seed set it will be assured in this kind of plants. Next question, monocot seeds generally show. Monocotyledonous seeds, when it is undergoing germination, it will undergo hypogale germination. Hypogale germination means the hypocotyle region, it will start elongating. Hypogale germination means the epicotyle region, it will be developing in the upward direction. Okay, so that what will happen, the seed which is present, that will be present under the soil itself. Epigale germination, it can be seen in some dicotyledonous seed. Example, the tamarind and all. Tamarind, when it is undergoing development, we can see the epigale germination. The epicotyle region, it will be elongating very fast. That is because the hypocotyle region, it is elongating very fast. Because of that hypocotyle region, it will make a push for this epicotyle region because of rapid multiplication there. So epigale germination is due to rapid multiplication of hypocotyle region. Hypogale germination is due to rapid multiplication of epicotyle region. So in the case of monocotyledonous seed, when we are just comparing with the example, you can easily remember when we are putting this monocot seed, that is rice or wheat or something, if we are putting in the soil, we will not be able to see that seed is coming out from the soil, right? That means the epicotyle region, it is undergoing very fast growth, fast multiplication. Because of that, it will undergo hypogale germination. Epigale germination, that means, see, in the case of tamarind, the seed and all, if it is present in the soil, when it is growing up, that cotyledon, it will be acting as the cotyledonary leaf, we can say. Cotyledon, it will come out from the soil, and we can see in a particular height of 5 centimeter height, if the plant has attained around 3 centimeter height, where we can see this cotyledon. Actually that cotyledon, it was associated with the seed, that was present in the soil, right? How it has come that much height? Because of the Epigale germination. Epigale germination, it occurs due to large hypocotyle multiplication. Large hypocotyle multiplication, when it occurs, what happen? The hypocotyle region, it will push the epicotyle region upward direction. All when it is pushing in the upward direction, the cotyledon also will be taken up. Okay, so here the hypogale germination, that is characteristic feature of monocots. Next one, a dicotyledonous plant bear flowers but never produces fruits and seeds. The most probable cause for the above situation is dicotyledonous plants, it bear flowers but never produce fruits and seeds. That means that dicotyledonous plant, it will be a male plant. That is the reason they are not able to produce the fruits and seeds. Never produce the fruits and seeds means there is no female flowers at all. So here the most probable cause of the above situation, it will be plant is dioecious and bears only staminate flower. That is the reason, right? Next question, autogamy can occur in a chasmogamous flower if autogamy, it can occur in a chasmogamous flower when the pollen grain of its own flower, when it is falling on the stigma of its own flower, or pollen grain from a flower, when it is liberated, it will be falling on the stigma of the same flower. That time only autogamy can occur. For that, pollen grain anther and stigma should be arranged closely, and this pollen grain and stigma, it should be mature at a time. These all, if it is there, then only autogamy will be occurred in a chasmogamous flower. So we will see what is the answer. Pollen matures before maturity of ovule. No, that condition, dichogamy condition, where the self-fertilization will not occur at all. Ovule mature before maturity of pollen. That is also dichogamy. That is an outbreeding device, we can say. Both pollen and ovule mature simultaneously. Yes, pollen and ovule, if they are maturing simultaneously, this can undergo autogamy. Both anther and stigma are of equal length. Even if the anther and stigma has equal length, we will not be able to say that the pollination, it occurs autogamy, because even if it has same length and if they are producing the pollen grain and when it is producing that stigma, if it is not mature, or if the stigma maturation and pollen grain formation, if it is not synchronized, we will not be able to see the autogamy, right? So that is also wrong. So here the correct option is 3. Next question, while planning for an artificial hybridization program involving dioecious plants, which of the following step would not be relevant? See, if we are selecting a dioecious plant, there is no need of doing the emasculation in that plant, because there only one type of flower will be produced, either male or female flower. So which flower we are going to do the hybridization, which flower on which we are going to powder the pollen grain, that flower, if we bag it, that will be enough. So here the emasculation we can avoid in a dioecious plant during artificial hybridization. So here 3 is the correct option. Next question, in the embryo of a typical dicot and a grass, true homologous structure are. The embryo of a typical dicot and grass, it has homologous structure, it's cotyledon. One is the dicot, it has cotyledon, and the grass, it will be having scutellum. The monocotyledonous seeds cotyledon is called as scutellum. Okay, so here the correct option is 3. Next question, in a flower, if the megaspore mother cell form megaspores without undergoing meiosis, and if one of the megaspore develop into an embryo sac, its nuclei will be diploid, because see, megaspore mother cell, it is not undergoing meiotic division for the formation of megaspore. Simply one megaspore mother cell is acting as a megaspore and it is undergoing the development as a embryo sac. You just imagine each cell, in the egg apparatus, it will be diploid, egg cell will be diploid, and polar nuclei, when we see, it will be having a diploid, 2 diploid nucleus will be present in it. Each antipodal cell will be diploid. So even before the fertilization, even without the fertilization, the diploid egg, it can undergo development. When it is undergoing development, we can see that will produce the diploid zygote, right? Diploid generation, diploid plant. So here the correct option is 2. Next question, which of the following is false? Flowers do not exist only for us to be used for our own selfishness. Correct. Flowers, it is not for our selfishness and all, it is for their reproduction. Next one, all flowering plants show sexual reproduction. Correct. Sexual reproduction showing plants only will produce the flowers, because see, the flowers are reproductive organ. Gymnosperm, being non-flowering, do not show sexual reproduction. Gymnosperm, they are not producing the flowers, but they produce the sexual, they show the sexual reproduction. All the plants, they show sexual reproduction. You see, even the very lowest plant, Thallophyta, also show sexual reproduction. They are not producing any flowers. Instead of that flowers, they will be having gametangia structure. In the case of bryophyte, we can see they will be having antheridium and archegonium structure, and in the case of pteridophyte, they have sporangia structure, and in the case of gymnosperm, they have the pollen grain and microsporangia and megasporangia as the reproductive structure. They are not producing any flowers, but these all are showing the sexual reproduction. Okay, so here 3 is the wrong option. Flowers are object of aesthetic, ornamental, social, religious and cultural value. That is also correct. Next question, question number 80. Pollen grains of different species show characteristic differences in. Pollen grains of different species, they show characteristic differences in their shape, size, color, design, everything, right? So here we can see shape, size and color only. It will be showing difference in their design also. Shape, size, colors and ploidy only. Ploidy difference and only, it will not be there. Shape, size, color and design only, that is correct. Ploidy only, that is wrong. So here the correct option is 3. This is the exact sentence which is taken from NCERT textbook. Okay. Next question. Pollen grains can be stored in liquid nitrogen at cryopreservation method is this, and pollen grains, it is preserved in the liquid nitrogen at -196 degrees Celsius. Next question. An ovule has generally how many embryo sac? One ovule will be having always one embryo sac only. So here correct option is 1. Next question. Long silky hair coming out of the cob of maize are. Long silky hair which is coming out of the corn cob or maize cob, that is nothing but the tassel. Tassel is nothing but the style and stigma. Okay, so here means for fruit dispersal, no, that is for trapping the pollen grain. So long style and stigma is the correct option. Next question. Which of the following would not have an effect on flowering of a particular plant species? See, a plant species flowering, it will what all factors it will affect, that is the question. Plant age will affect, correct. Nutritional status will affect, correct. Temperature, we have studied vernalization, that will affect. Prevailing wind, we have never studied anywhere the wind, it will affect the flowering and all. So here the 4th option is correct. Next question. For artificial hybridization experiment in bisexual flower, which of the sequences is correct? Artificial hybridization experiment, we can see emasculation of the flower or emasculation in anther and bagging, cross pollination and rebagging. This is the different stage of the first we will do emasculation, then after that we will do bagging, then we will do cross pollination, then we will do rebagging. Okay, so that is what is this bagging and rebagging. See, after cross pollination, the stigma should not be contaminated with unwanted pollen grain. If we don't rebag again, if another pollen grain, if it is coming and sticking on that same stigma, if that pollen grain is undergoing germination on that stigma, whatever work we have done, it will become futile or waste, right? So here 2 is the correct option. Next question. Which of the following is false about emasculation? Which is false about emasculation? Emasculation is the process through which the immature anther will be removed. Here you see, during emasculation process, stigma is removed, it seems. Stigma is not removed during emasculation, so that is wrong. Stigma is nothing but the landing platform for pollen grain. Stigma is bagging. Emasculated flowers are bagged in order to prevent self-pollination. Correct. Emasculated flowers, after emasculation we will bag it for unwanted to prevent the self-pollination. Emasculation is the removal of stamen before maturation or selected bisexual flowers. Correct. It is one of the steps for artificial hybridization. That is also correct. Next question. Which of the following is false? Endosperm formation start prior to first division of zygote. Correct. Endosperm, it has to be formed before the first division of zygote, because zygote has to get food from the endosperm for its development. Second statement is angiospermic endosperm is mostly triploid, while gymnospermic one is haploid. That is correct only. Endosperm in angiosperm is triploid, endosperm in gymnosperm is a haploid, because angiosperm in which endosperm is formed as a result of triple fusion, but endosperm in gymnosperm, that is produced before the fertilization itself. Because of that, they are a part of that archegonial structure and it is haploid in nature. Next one, the most common type of endosperm is nuclear. That is also correct. Mostly the endosperm, it will not spend energy or time for making the different cells, that is just for nourishment. No, they will just make enough cytoplasm for getting enough food for the zygote development. Next, coconut has both liquid or nuclear, multinucleate and cellular endosperm. Correct. Coconut, when it is tender, that time it will be having complete liquid endosperm, and we can see first formed nucleus, it is moving towards the peripheral region, and slowly due to maturation it will start attaining the cell wall and it will undergo cytokinesis and cellular endosperm will be formed. So the white kernel, what we are using for making curry and all, no, that is the cellular endosperm. So that is also correct. Milky water of green tender coconut is liquid female gametophyte. No, liquid endosperm it is. So 5 is the wrong statement in this. So here the correct option is 3. Next question, which are the external conditions required for seed germination? Seed germination, for that oxygen is required, water is required and suitable temperature is required. So here the correct option, it is oxygen, moisture and suitable temperature. Okay, so light is not required for seed germination. We are not keeping under sunlight for the seed germination. No, in some plants it may be, but very rarely only. Oxygen, light and suitable temperature. Oxygen, it is what to say, oxygen it is required, light it is not required, suitable temperature it is required. Oxygen, carbon dioxide, it is not required for the seed germination. The seed germination, for that oxygen, moisture content and suitable temperature. Oxygen for what? For the respiration purpose, because you see the seed, either it will be storing the nutrients in the form of endosperm or it will be storing in the form of cotyledon. So whatever it may be, cotyledon stored food or endosperm store food, it has to undergo respiration, then only the ATP will be produced. That ATP only used for the germination of the seed. So for that oxygen is required. Next question, in most plant the fruit develop from the ovary, other parts degenerate and fall off. Such fruits are called as true fruit. True fruit, in that the ovary will be developed as the fruit and the remaining part it will be fallen off. That is true fruit. And false fruit we already said, right? Next one, seeds are adaptively important because seeds, when they are produced, they maintain the dormancy. Most of the seeds, very few seeds only, they will not maintain the dormancy. Most of the seeds, they will maintain the dormancy, and during unfavorable condition they will be able to survive. They protect young plant during vulnerable stages. Correct. A vulnerable condition or unfavorable condition where the young plant, it is protected inside the seed, because the seed is under dormancy. They have desiccated the complete water, dehydration of the complete water, it occurs around 85% water is removed, and remaining thing, it is inside that dormancy stage, in which a basic metabolic activities only will be going on. Because of that, there is no other attack of bacteria, fungus or something like that, as well as it will be able to survive in a suppressed condition inside the seed as the small plantlets. Okay, they store food for young plants and facilitate the dispersal. Yes, they will be storing the food for the young plant, and this seed, it will facilitate the dispersal also. One or other way, the seed dispersal, it will be occurred, that is due to the nature of the seed. Example, if we see the coconut and all, it has a mesocarp, it is fibrous, and because of that it will be able to float in water. So it will be floating through the water and it will reach to different regions of the river side and all, and it can undergo propagation. So seed dispersal, it occurs, no, and there are some seed dispersal mechanism which is present in the sunflower, like pappus like structure, and we can see feathery structure in the case of calotropis. Those kind of adaptation for the seed dispersal also we can see in the case of seed. Okay, so here the correct option is all of the above. Seeds are adaptively important because they are able to maintain the dormancy, they are able to protect the plant during the vulnerable condition, and they can store food for the young plantlets as well as they help in dispersal of the seeds. Okay, so this is all about this question paper which consists of 90 questions.